So let me introduce myself. I am Parvana Guliyeva, originally from Azerbaijan, and have been working as an educator for a decade. Now I'm in Portugal, working for one wonderful, truly international school, International Sharing School Tagush Park, as a homeroom teacher, grade 4 homeroom teacher and mathematics curriculum coordinator. And I'm so glad that everybody's here watching us and learning with us, and that's my pleasure to be here. And let's get started, Mariela.
Yes,
awesome. All right. So a big question I'm going to ask you, everybody. And do we know that Singapore mathematics is known as the best math system in the world? So it's our pleasure. We've got collaboration with Marshall Cavendish Company and one of the head Polygon Education, one of the headquarters in Spain. And it's our pleasure to know Mariela as a representative of this company. And as a school, we are so proud of implementing Singapore math curriculum in our school and truly understanding the value of this curriculum. And this is one of the best math system in the world. And one of the defining features of Singapore It takes some time. It's just a technical thing, but we are solving it soon.
That's it.
That's it.
We went to Singapore, and Marshall Cavendish, worldwide Singapore maths publishing company with more than 40 years of experience, showed us this methodology, tested in schools and with outstanding results on the global stage. At the moment, we are publishing the methodology in English, Spanish, and Basque. These are some of the authors of the methodology. Singapore Maths, Early Bird, and My Pals Are Here is a series composed by different methodologies with a common core, problem solving. Therefore, we present problems in a real context, close to the students' reality. They see the problems in everyday situations. We want them to be able to create strategies, thinking, drawing, communicating their thoughts, explaining the hows and whys of the solutions. We focus on the reasoning process. For this reason, we use the CPA approach. Concrete. Through activities with concrete materials, students investigate mathematical concepts. Pictorial. Students recognize through pictures and drawings mathematical amounts and their relations. Then, They apply it in a real-life situation to help them visualize and solve the problem. It is key to link the concrete phase with the pictorial. Abstract. Recognize and represent with numbers, symbols, algorithms and formulas what they've learned in previous phases. Let's see an example. A key strategy in Singapore maths is the bar model. It is a pictorial model that uses visual representation through the drawing of rectangles that represent quantities and the relations between them, the whole and the parts that compose it, or to compare different variables. Through manipulation and the pictorial representation of the bar model, we get to understand the abstract phase. It is the base for algebra understanding. We want to offer you verticality throughout the educational stages, so students can learn and be taught in a clear, organized and connected way. Singapore Mathematics Early Bird is available for K2 and K3. The student's material is composed of a textbook and a workbook per year. My Pals Are Here is available for all years in primary education, from year 1 to 6. The student's material is composed of 2 students' books and 2 workbooks. We can also provide manipulative materials for every year. The teacher's materials are lesson planning, teacher's guide, and virtual environment. The most important part in this methodology is the teacher's training. That's why we have a team of trainers and specific training offer for each school. We accompany you at all times during the process of implementation with Sherpa, our team of teachers trainers, experts and certified in Singapore Maths by Marshall Cavendish, with specific training courses for each stage, counseling and support, mentoring. Learning maths will be more cognitive. Motivate your students to learn through playing.
Okay, so as you watch the video and you actually noticed how wonderful and very rich Singapore math curriculum is. So I want to really give information about how Singapore math curriculum is working. And I will also give an example from real life experience that we are implementing in our school. So Singapore math method is focused on mastery, which is achieved through intentional sequencing of concepts. What is that? We will focus on spiral curriculum. And you can ask me what spiral curriculum is. Spiral curriculum is we are taking one concept, entire primary, we design this concept according to our students' age. And then every year, students have the same concept, but in depth level, and you develop their understanding, deep understanding of the concept every year, because they see the same concept when they are first grade, they see the same concept when they are second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade, when they are super ready for the secondary level with the result of spiral curriculum. So that's why we are telling Singapore math really focus on, Miss Mariela, spiral curriculum.
Yes.
And also, I would like to say I'm checking my notes that I don't want to forget anything to share.
Of course.
So in Singapore mathematics, we've got central focus of the framework is a mathematical problem solving, and solving through metacognition. It means monitoring by one's thinking and self-regulation of learning. And then we focus on process by reasoning, communicating, connecting, and making connections between concepts. And then we also focus on concepts broadly, algebraic, geometric, and statistical concepts in entire primary. And of course, skill is very important in our framework, which encourage students to analyze the data, to estimate and use mathematical tools. And also, we know that in mathematics, concepts are super abstract. And primary school age, children entering the development of this stage and improvement of abstractions. So in this phase, it's important to create a bridge to understand abstraction in a concrete and in relevant context. So that's why here it comes CPA model, bar model. And in CPA, we will focus on actually pictorial, concrete, and abstract. It is highly effective approach in mathematics. And we know Jean Piaget, right? Educator and psychologist, and suggested that students need continuous construct their understanding. So then they reconstruct their knowledge through their understanding. And again, here it comes, Singapore mathematics approach, CPA and bar modeling, that is authentic curriculum and will help students to approach holistically. Yeah, Ms. Mariela.
Perfect.
Okay, so I want to give information about bar model and CPA that you watched in the video, how it works. I would say I would start from bar modeling, that we use bar modeling. We start introducing bar modeling when students are grade 2. And through bar modeling, actually, you can use bar model to solve problems. You can use bar model to introduce word problems and to actually help students to visualize word problems through bar modeling. As you see in the video, bar model is a very simple, and you can use squares or rectangles, and you can use any colors to make sure that students are engaged in mathematics class. And they should understand that in mathematics, there is no one way to solve word problem. That Singapore mathematics curriculum teaches us as an educator, we should understand that in mathematics, there are many ways to present word problem. And one of them is bar modeling. And of course, when you design and your lesson structure is your whole group structure, and lesson structure is your guided group structure. And of course, you want to master the skills, mathematical skills, that you work individually. So that's very important. When you plan the structure of your class, you make sure that you've got different strategies using in your math class. This is what Singapore Mathematics always promotes. In our school, I would say how actually Singapore Mathematics work. We've got aligned curriculum with Singapore Mathematics curriculum and IB scope and sequence mathematics, and they align very well. When we actually started creating our curriculum, and so we saw that yes, the curriculum is aligning very well, and we used spiral theory in our curriculum. So entire PYP learns through spiral curriculum. And curriculum is not a document that it's a scary document. It's a flexible document that actually Singapore Mathematics teaches us that this is a document that we can revisit document many times, and it's a flexible document, and it actually helps us to guide, to lead our math classes, and we make lots of fun activities to reduce math anxiety in students. And then, and also bar modeling is a pictorial representation of mathematical quantities and relationships, and it helps students to think holistically. And I also want to talk about CPA model. Do we have still
Very
time?
important.
Yes, we have got time. As I mentioned, we will have a Q&A session, so
that's it.
You can ask your questions.
Maybe if you want the last 10 minutes.
Yes, perfect. And also CPA, I want to talk about CPA model, and which is concrete, pictorial, and abstract. As we may know, in our classroom, we've got, not all students are high achiever students, right, Miss Mariela?
Yes,
and we've got students who are struggling in mathematics class and who are struggling to understand math concepts. So here it comes, these methods, CPA method, and concrete, P stands for pictorial, and A stands for abstract. And it's highly effective approach to teaching that develops a deep and sustainable understanding of math in students. And as you may know, CPA was developed by American psychologist
Jerome Bruner.
Yes, and he is, I believe, so Miss Mariela loves him so much.
Sure.
Perfect. And also, when we are talking about Singapore Mathematics, as I mentioned, we focus on skills. So when we focus on this framework, we say metacognition, we say skills, we say attitudes, and all these framework work together.
And
all
a very
these
important thing, the attitude.
Yes, and very important thing is attitude. When I was checking my notes, and I mentioned attitudes like with 3 words: confidence, appreciation. And students, not all students are confident in mathematics class.
That's true.
But how we encourage students to be confident in mathematics class. Of course, the most important thing in Singapore math curriculum is we do not focus on computation, how fast students are doing. We are not focusing on this. We focus on how well students understand the concept of mathematics. And of course, it changed the students' attitude towards mathematics.
True.
And we've got many students who dislike mathematics just because they don't understand the concept, just because they keep memorizing stuff.
That's it.
Instead of using their skill to understand, to real life application to understand. So we can also reduce mathematics anxiety through skills through attitudes. And it's up to the strategies that we are using in the classroom. And when I was talking about attitudes and how can I change my students' attitudes towards mathematics class, and we talked about common objects. So as you may know, in Singapore mathematics, one of the core elements is manipulatives.
Yeah.
And how well we use manipulatives in our classrooms, and how manipulatives are available for our students to understand math concepts. And of course, you might think that, okay, sometimes you find manipulatives very expensive, it's hard to reach. However, we can have common objects to use. And we had a nice conversation with Miss Mariela about it. Miss Mariela said, beans. Absolutely. We can use any common object. And I remember when I was trying to explain fractions as a math concept, I used fruits.
Yes.
I used tangerines, I used orange, I used apples. These are common objects that we can bring to our classroom, and with hands-on activities, make everything fun. Of course, students love fun stuff, right?
Of course.
All the time. And with manipulatives, and you can lead your classes. As we mentioned, it can be a whole classroom, then group work, and then individual approach. So it can be common object, can be apples, crayons, it can be books, it can be toys, anything that works for your class, and also according to your class age. Students' age. I'm teaching grade 4 students, so I can easily use all these common objects in my classroom. So you can also use common objects in your classroom.
Sure.
And do we have any question, Miss Mariela?
I'm going to check.
Maybe we can check our chat box.
It is okay.
Okay.
No. Okay. No.
No.
You can continue.
Okay. And when we are talking about CPA model, CPA model is what we say concrete, pictorial, and abstract, and highly
the concrete
effective.
part is that you use the manipulatives.
And I want to come there. Number bonds are the best, for me, are the best thing that we can use in the classroom. And bar modeling is also a great example. And of course, there will be students, high achiever students in our classroom, and their mental math is really, really strong. And without using CPA model, we will have students whose mental math is really strong. They will be doing mental math. And when we are talking about CPA model, concrete, pictorial, and abstract, we actually offer our students, to reach our students, actually. We reach all our students. What are their needs? And as you may know, in our classrooms, not all students' needs are the same. And there are students, high achievers, we've got slow learners and fast learners. So we reach all students through these strategies, and CPA model concrete, and students are using hands-on activities and to understand, and we help to improve their motor skills, CPA model with concrete. And of course, pictorial, we show the same thing through pictures. And then once they understand, we move on next step, which is abstract model. And it works for any concept in mathematics. It works for fractions. We do co-teaching, Miss Mariela, in our school, which is one of the best things working in our school. And we're helping each other and to implement all these models, bar models and CPA. And when you work with students and you realize that how these models are working very well, how they understand working through all these common objects in the classroom. So this is the importance of CPA model. And we also talked about bar model.
I don't know if you want to talk about assessment.
Yeah, I would love to talk. Yes, okay, absolutely.
Perfect, because I want to know.
Yes, assessment is one of the most important parts during teaching and learning, right? Because we need it, what we believe is assessment is ongoing.
That's it, yeah.
And it's not, okay, you're not assessing now, but you're gonna assess after 2 days. No, assessment is ongoing. And we assess all students consistently. And it can be through conversation, it can be through observation, or you have got checklists, you are assessing them, or through math talks. And I would like to share some strategies that we are using here in our school, and we love it. One of them is math talks. Of course, when you plan your mathematics class, and you've got 3 important things to focus on. First, you've got whole group activity. Second, you've got guided group activity. And then you've got individual work, where students master their mathematics skill. So in whole group activities, we've got many strategies to introduce concept. So during math talk, even if you are introducing math concept, it will be your pre-assessment period, where you are aware of your students' understanding and knowledge about the concept. Because during math talk, you've got this math talk concept talk. So it happened to us. We did math talk. We always do math talk, but interesting point, aha moment in our talk, it was multiplication. So when we started doing math talk with, I would love to show the poster, but it's in our classroom. And
in another time.
Yeah, in another time, absolutely. So when our student make connection and this aha moment, and Miss Parvana, multiplication is connected to addition, and I can explain how, because multiplication is a repeated addition. And during math talk, you've got the understanding, yes, this student has got the idea of how multiplication and addition is connected. So it's our math talk. It's happening during math talk, and this is a pre-assessment period, right? You assess all
very important one.
Yes, you assess all your students' participation. How well they participated, and how did they use their metacognition skills? That is one of the framework in Singapore mathematics.
Yes, it is.
And how did they apply their understanding? How do they apply their knowledge through skills? This is one of our framework that we focus on skills. So another thing I would like to say, how we do assessment, it's not just only test, or you're given test. This is not the only way to assess students, and we can give them long-term projects. And I remember one of our units, students started observing their terrarium. They decided to create a terrarium. So since first day, they observed their terrarium. And of course, plants started growing and growing. And 6 weeks, they observed all the terrariums in the classroom, because they worked in groups, and we've got 7 or 6 terrariums in the classroom that they observed. And at the end of 6 weeks, students, according to their data, students created a huge table, line graphs. So this is a skill that they improve throughout the unit. This is one of our framework that we focus on. Skill, how students implement in real life situation.
That's it.
And according to their data, they focused on data analysis, which is one of our data analysis estimation. This is part of skill framework in Singapore mathematics. So this is one of the assessment you can do. So let's think broadly that Singapore mathematics offer an opportunity to think broadly, both for teachers and students.
True.
And so there are many ways to assess. Of course, I'm not telling, no, don't do tests. No, of course not. You've got the revision paper and revision test. You can do it, but make sure that you're asking open-ended questions that they can justify their understanding.
Yes.
And their ideas, their opinions on the paper, not just focusing on answer, but just focusing on process. This is one of the most important things in Singapore mathematics, that we are not focusing on the answer, but we focus on the process. How did you get this answer? Not how your answer is wow or correct, but how is the process? So we need to make sure that we are creating questions that we focus on the process. And I also want to talk, this is the assessment part that we do. We're not just doing, Miss Mariela, okay, this is the test we print out. No, we focus on open-ended questions and we try to integrate math concepts across this subject. For us, mathematics is not a single subject.
Of course. And
it is integrated through concepts. And students, of course, we focus on skills in other subjects across the subject. We focus on metacognition in other subjects too. So it is integrated. And also students do not consider mathematics as a single subject, but they know that in science, they use mathematical concepts. And they know in social studies, they can use mathematical concepts. For example, we were doing migration unit. Grade 5 students were doing migration unit, and they have got an amazing integrated math concept. They were working on number lines. So they were actually talking about migration. They were talking about the history of transportation. And then when they created a line, number line, and they said, okay, this car is invented that time, that car is invented that time. And they created a beautiful number line. So which mathematical concept I can implement here? You can work on number. This is our main concept. But of course, we will have sub-strands in mathematics. And when you look at a Singapore math curriculum, you will see we've got main concept, main strand, and below main strand, we've got sub-strands. In number, you will see how comparing numbers, you will see decimals, you will see fractions, you will see comparing all these numbers. So grade 5 students focused on comparing all these numbers, big numbers. And then they compared all these numbers after creating that number line. And that was a great integration. So they also think that, okay, yes, we can actually implement our mathematical understanding, mathematical concept in other subjects too. So that's what Singapore mathematics say: framework, metacognition, skills, attitudes, and all this stuff. Let all educators integrate other subjects too. And this is how it works in our school, Mariela, and I'm so glad. And I want to talk about a little bit of lesson structure in how it works in Singapore mathematics. We've got 3 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
We have 13. Yeah.
Okay.
We said,
I will
just 5 minutes for the questions.
Okay.
Or
I
10.
will talk about a little bit lesson structure, so you can shoot your questions, everyone. So when we start, okay, there are many strands in mathematics that it's hard to integrate. I absolutely understand. And this one of the strands is fractions that currently we are doing in grade 4 classes. So yes, you can have a standalone subject, mathematics, that happens everywhere. However, you teach concept-based mathematics. Not like, okay, so you explain on the board and you distribute worksheet and do it. No, it won't work. It won't work. We need to model. We need to model everything for students. We need to start step by step. It will be guided teaching, not like we're teaching and we are distributing worksheet and do it. It won't work, and we will, trust me, you will reteach this strand again. Reteach this strand again. So it won't work. So it's very important to make sure that when you plan your lesson, there are a couple of structures you need to focus on. First of all, modeling. And not overwhelming students, because the other day I was reading an article about long-term memory and short-term memory in students. So students short-term memory is very, very small. Very small. So when you thinking about teaching a lot of stuff, it won't work.
That's it, because they don't keep it.
Yes, because they've got this capacity, they can only take that capacity. The rest will be waste. So you're not teaching this, and to making sure that students transfer their knowledge to long-term memory, you have steps to follow. Which one is modeling? Not overwhelming students. Make sure that you're teaching, you're not teaching fast. No, you're teaching slowly, and learning is slow process.
And the spiral curriculum, it will help, no? It helps.
Absolutely. That's what we say, spiral. Oh, everything is correct, connected in Singapore mathematics, Miss Mariela. Why I'm telling this, because you see what I'm saying? Okay, students have got this short-term memories, the capacity is so low, right? So that's why we are focusing on spiral curriculum. So students will learn a little bit in grade 1, then they will learn a little bit advanced one in grade 2, then they will learn the same concept in grade 3, and it will continue the same concept grade 4 and 5. And you will deepen their understanding in that concept. You're not, for example, think about teaching fraction just in grade 4. And this is one hand. On the other hand, think about teaching fractions through grade 1, 2, 3, 4. Which will be effective? Let's be honest.
Of course.
And of course, this spiral theory will help all educators to deliver the concept slowly. However, when student is in the grade 4, you will realize that, yes, actually student has got a deep knowledge and deep understanding of fractions. It applies in any strand. A fraction is just an example, or multiplication.
And then they can use it in their lives.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Real life. I will give an example. One of the activity we did in the classroom, which was related to fractions and decimals, because we are grade 4, we are focused, this is term 3, we focus more on fractions and decimals. This is the substrand in numbers. So I asked my students to bring their market receipts. And of course, they didn't notice why I'm asking them to bring their market receipts. And of course, they brought, I've got like, I don't know, 20 or 30 market receipts. And I said, okay, very good. Let's stick all these market receipts on a huge cardboard. We did. And I asked them, hunt for decimals and fractions, decimals
Yeah.
in your receipt. And then, of course, and I gave them highlighter to highlight all these decimals in the receipt, market receipt. And students highlighted all numbers in the receipt. Yes, and then you know what did they notice? And you say, Miss Parwana, we noticed that mathematics is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, guys,
That's
of
it.
course, mathematics is everywhere. And you do shopping and it's everywhere. Mathematics is everywhere. And one of my students told me, Miss Parwana, I've never noticed decimals on my market receipts. And I said, now you did. That's awesome. Now you did. So all this real life application, this is one of our framework in Singapore mathematics. And we are talking about applications and modeling thinking skill process. And this framework will help improve students' all skills in mathematics.
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
Let's
So-
check the time. If we had, I think I saw a question,
So
but
let's
if you want
start-
to
you
start,
know,
yeah,
So let's start our Q&A
yes,
session, Miss
okay,
Mariela.
perfect.
So if they
Perfect.
want, if our audience want, we can have another session related to all these strands separately.
Perfect. Yes, of course. I think Maria Raquel, she's asking, do you this? That's it.
Yes,
Along the secondary.
Mariela, yes, my background is primary. However, our school, a huge school, and we've got a secondary building, and I know teachers are doing IDUs, and all subjects are integrated. And I remember doing art and mathematics together.
Ah,
I remember doing visual arts mathematics together, integrated science and mathematics together. And I remember, yes, it's, of course, they do all this integration in secondary too. Yeah.
And bar model, it helps to algebra. It's true?
Yes, yeah. I want to say something about concepts because we always talked about concept. When you look at Singapore mathematics, you will see that all strands are given as a concept. For example, we say geometric concept. So in geometry, what are they gonna learn? These are our strands. We call it strands. So this is our concept. In the concept, we've got strands, and each strand have got sub-strands. For example, numerical concept. Here we focus on numbers. This is our main strand.
Okay.
But in our main strand, we've got sub-strands like multiplication, division, fraction, decimals, comparing numbers, or all these are substrands. Or we focus on statistical concept or probabilistic concept. So statistical concept is one of the strands in Singapore mathematics.
Yeah.
And probability is one of the concept and strand too. So all these concepts are part of our framework, Singapore mathematics framework.
And it's true that in secondary, they all the concepts are integrated in the class, a little bit more abstract. It's true.
Yes, it's
Because
very true. So why we wanted to implement Singapore curriculum in our school is, and we want to make sure that our students have got a strong foundation of mathematics. So, of course, secondary level mathematics will be more abstract.
Of course.
However,
And they already have all the base.
yes, and actually they are supposed to have all these foundation when
That's
they
it.
move up to secondary.
That's it.
But as an educator, I'm asking a question to myself, how I'm gonna build up this foundation. And can you imagine at the age of 6, at the age of 7, at the age of 8, if you are also focusing on abstract, I'm sorry, but I cannot expect my students understand all these concepts without focusing on concrete level, without focusing on pictorial level of concept.
And that's a very important thing, no?
Yes.
To connect the concrete to the abstract.
Absolutely, and it's very important. By coming abstract stage, it's very important students are well aware of concrete stage. And then pictorial stage, students can transfer their understanding from concrete to pictorial.
Yeah.
Until abstract, we need to make sure that our students are able to. Yes, there will be high achiever students. They will do it in a second. Yes. But not all students are like that. You've got 2 or 3 students like that. But rest of the class will always struggle in that. So these Singapore math methods and using manipulatives, first of all, will prevent students having math anxiety, because students understand the concept, why they have got math anxiety, just because we start right away from abstract, right? Yeah. But if we start introducing all concepts through concrete, pictorial, and abstract, it'll work very well. Students will implement all these ideas very well, all these understanding and skills very well. So we will make sure that even we're using all these methods, we need to make sure that students can transfer knowledge from one stage to another easily, Ms. Mariela. Not like, okay, finished, concrete, okay, pictorial, and no, we need to make sure that students transfer their knowledge and understanding from one stage to another. From one stage and another. And another thing in Singapore mathematics is we need to make sure that one problem can be presented in many ways.
Of course.
Not in one way. Many ways. That's why we've got these models.
Yeah.
Because
each student can have his or her own
personal skill to understand,
yeah,
personal needs,
or strategy to resolve something.
And how do you make sure that you're reaching all your students, right? All your students'
not just needs. A way to solve one thing.
So we need to offer these opportunities for all students that make sure that all students, you reached all your students through your strategies. Because I've got students who love introducing math concept through Math Talk. I've got students love introducing math concept through stories. I've got students who love introducing math concept through word problem.
And multiply intelligence.
Yes, it is multiple intelligence.
That's it.
This is a multiple intelligence that we are having. And when you actually present your concept through word problem, through problems, through stories, that I love presenting math concept through stories. This is also very important in Singapore math, using stories to introduce.
And you get his attention,
of course. And here, the advantage of introducing our concept through stories are students are always engaged.
Yeah, that's it.
They're always enthusiastic. They're always willing to share their ideas.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of Singapore mathematics, Mariela.
Yeah, it is.
And yes, and we are proudly implementing in our school. And I also want to say thank you, Polygon Education, that actually providing very nice workshop leaders and support our teachers to implement truly implementation of Singapore mathematics. Thank you, Mariela. Thank you, Polygon Education. And we will keep working with you.
Of course, of course. I'm here now in Portugal.
Yes.
I have to say.
And I would say, I'm proudly saying that our school is an official reference school for Singapore mathematics. And we are so, so proud. Thank you, Mariela.
Thanks to you. And I have to say that it's very easy to work with you as
Oh,
well.
thank you, Mariela. It's easy work with you too. You're so practical. And at the moment, we need people who are practical.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Thank
All society.
Thank
to
you, everybody.
Parvana.
Thank
Thanks
you for being here,
Yeah,
for your
that's it.
time. I know some teachers are tired after
Mhm,
school, but
true.
they join. Thank
Yeah,
you very
it's
much.
true. Thank you. Bye.